Right before I sat down to make this video, I noticed my man Marvin Chico sent me $5 through Cash App. Thank you for supporting the channel, my man. You know what? All your Cash App, all your Venmo, right down in my video description, you'll find the links for it. Support the channel. You don't have to get memberships and all that if you don't want to. You can always support anyway. Because like I said, YouTube advertising is down right now. A lot of YouTubers across the boards are saying that. A lot of haters are on my channel. Oh, it's because you talk politics. It's because you don't talk about rideshare. You're rideshare. Shut up. This is Marcus Murray, no relationship to Keith. See, Keith had the A in his name. This Murray E. You asking who am I? Well, it don't make a difference. I was a career accountant, now I Uber and I'm lifting. That's how I run my business. I chase off all these pigeons. I don't like your YouTube, man. Well, good riddance. And I ain't bullshit. I don't do this for fame. I do this for the people out there finding hard to explain how to break a transmission in half and thermostats and brake pads with rotors on the front and the back. How we avoid to get jacked while we stacking these racks. If we choose to do this service, letting people in back. Now we all be making profits, we invest for returns. See, this biz ain't for the timid, so it's best that you learn from the guru. The new school is so cool, I'm old school. These pro tools that pro use, I'm about to show you. I flow through these beats like a breeze in July. I was fly when I was corporate in suits and a tie. Got no reason to lie, so I can tell you what's up. If you was flying in through Phoenix, you can kick it with us. And you can trust, you gon' make it any way that you can. I'm the man to sit you down and I'm gonna show you the plan. And then I'm shaking your hand before we closing the deal. A 300, best believe we keeping it real. Marcus Murray. Many people want to call Trump racist, but they don't want to call him right. He was right the whole time. And now finally, Trudeau up in Canada is saying, hey, you know what? Maybe immigration wasn't quite handled how it should have been.
Immigration. Let's talk about it. In the last 2 years, our population has grown really fast, like baby boom fast. And increasingly, bad actors like fake colleges and big chain corporations have been exploiting our immigration system for their own interests.
Now remember, this guy was pro-immigration. And I did a video talking about how immigrants are being exploited. I did a video, maybe, was it last year I did one? I think it was last year. I did a video saying all these people are doing is exploiting immigrants. And now the short bus people want to come, oh yeah, they're exploiting immigrants. Didn't we already say that already? They're finally waking up.
Major. We're reducing the numbers of immigrants that will come to Canada for the next 3 years. Today, I'm going to let you in on what happened, where we made some mistakes, and why we're taking this big turn.
Why they're taking a big turn. And it's a pretty big turn. Everybody wants to call Trump racist and Trump a xenophobe and call all of the Trump supporters xenophobes and racists. There are countries around with all politicians that realize where the mistakes were. You can't just do this arbitrarily. Kamala Harris, they wanted to do it. She got rocked in the last election. She got rocked. And now people want to sit around going, well, it's because people are racist against Latinos and they're racist against immigrants and they're xenophobe. No, it's because it's just not smart business, not for the world economy.
There are two kinds of immigration in Canada. The one you probably think of most is permanent immigration, like when families come to Canada to settle and call it home. Every year, the government determines the right number of permanent residents that we want to admit. That's how it's been done for decades. But a plan that only talks about permanent immigration misses the other pathway, temporary immigration. Temporary residents are people who come to Canada for a limited time, like international students, temporary workers, and so on. They come to work a job or go to school. When the job is done or when they finish their degree, most return home. Some apply to stay as permanent residents, but most return home.
And that's where they screwed up, especially America. Telling all of these American citizens, hey, we have new residents now. They're going to be living here from now on. They're seeking asylum. They're not going anywhere because their country's messed up. They're just going to live here now. That's where America messed up. Because a lot of us are like, it's one thing to come here on a student visa, you know, go to school here. One thing to come here on a work visa. One thing to come here on a tourist visa and travel. It's another thing just to come lollygagging into a country illegally and saying, hey, we're taking over. Venezuelan gangs in Colorado taking over apartment complexes. We live here now. Gangs taking over Chicago. We live here now. Gangs up in New York on scooters, jacking people, we live here now. That's not how we wanted to do it. A lot of us don't mind immigration. It's okay to be immigrants. You guys got to do it legally.
So back to this year's plan. Historically, Canada's annual immigration plan just looked at permanent residents. The number of temporary students and workers that we admitted each year was left to the demands of the economy. It was usually a small proportion of our population, so it's never been a part of the long-term immigration plan. But after the pandemic, our economy came roaring back quickly, and we needed a lot of workers fast.
And you know why countries like America needed a lot of workers fast? Because America was paying people more to sit at home on the couch than what they get working. Probably the same in Canada. I don't know because I'm not in Canada. But I know in America, a lot of people were not willing to go back to work after the pandemic because they're, I can't find a job. They're getting like what, $400, $500, $600 a week just to sit at home. Some of them getting more money at home and doing Uber on the side than going back to work. So all of these jobs wouldn't stay filled. People were complaining, I'm scared to get sick. I don't want to go to work, just so they can keep getting a government check. And immigrants, they were like, well, all these people are lazy as hell. They don't want to get up and go to work. We'll come over and work. That's really what it was. It wasn't that they couldn't find people. People were around. Nobody wanted to work. So we said, let's just use cheaper labor, jack the profits up through the roof for all these corporations, turn the stock market around through profits, make it look like we're doing well. And then when Americans finally start realizing how broke they really are, it'll be too late. We got all these immigrants already living in hotels and nice condos and townhouses. They all got jobs. They all got legal services, health services. They can't rebound from that. And that's where they caught America. Canada finally started seeing it too.
Canada is in the middle of a huge labor shortage.
Temporary foreign workers became such a significant part of our workforce that it'd be a mistake not to include them when we plan our immigration levels. So this year, we did exactly that for the first time.
So he just admitted they planned it for the first time ever. They planned it. They didn't allow anybody to sit down democratically and go over a plan, pros and cons. They never did that. This is the first time they ever did that. That's why things got so screwed up. That's why America was even turned around and why people were getting upset, because we had never seen anything like this before.
We laid out a plan that sets targets for both permanent and temporary residents. This way, we're getting the full breakdown of people coming into our country so we can prepare the homes and infrastructure needed to support them. Like I said, immigration is based on demand.
You hearing this right? This is the breakdown of exploitation. If immigration is based on demand, not based on asylum seekers, he didn't say it's based on asylum. He said immigration is based on demand. It's not based on whether or not somebody's going to war in another country and we feel sorry for him. He just told you it's based on demand. We will allow you to come to our country if we need you. If we don't need you, we're going to block you from coming. It's based on demand.
When we set our targets, we look at every province and territory. We ask the premiers, what are the gaps in your workforce? Is your population growing or getting older? We field calls from businesses, CEOs, economic experts, all sharing their thoughts on where we should set our targets.
We've had a chronic shortage of labor for the last decade. It is the #1 issue of all manufacturers across Canada. So we think there needs to be more, push the pedal to the floor to bring more people into Canada, because
Ontario is facing a generational labor shortage. 380,000 jobs are going unfilled.
It's no surprise that every sector has different wants and needs when it comes to immigration. But after the pandemic, they all came to us with the same message.
Not before the pandemic. After the pandemic, they came with the same message. We need cheap labor. We need to get a return on our money again. We just lost all of our workers. Half of them are probably, they got the shot. They don't want to return to work. Half of them just scared to come to work. The other half just want to get paid, sitting at home on the couch. We need to get our money back. We got a lot of money riding on this. How can we get cheap labor? Let's call them asylum seekers. Yeah, let's go. If it's based on demand, not on seeking asylum from another country's ill ways, they're just telling everybody the truth right to your faces. We never said it's based on whether or not people need our assistance and our help in their country. It's based on what we need and if we can use them or not.
After 2 years with closed borders, we need more people, more workers, fast. So we brought in more workers, and it was the right choice. It worked. Our economy grew. Restaurants and stores reopened, businesses kept running, but most importantly, in spite of lots of economists' predictions, we avoided the worst-case scenario, a recession. But some saw that as an opportunity to profit, to game the system. We've seen way too many large corporations doing this.
The government says the program has been used to get around hiring Canadian workers in some instances.
Far too many colleges and universities used international students to raise their bottom line.
There are the diploma equivalent of puppy mills that are just churning out diplomas. There is fraud and abuse, and it needs to end.
Because they could charge these students tens of thousands of dollars more for the same degree. And then there are really bad actors who outright exploit people, who target vulnerable immigrants with promises of jobs, diplomas, and easy pathways to citizenship, promises that would never come true.
Promises that would never come true. Kind of sounds like that's what Lyft just got sued for. Promising people all this money you was going to make if you just drove with us. Be an immigrant, come drive with us. They got sued for misleading people into thinking they were going to make so much money and they really didn't. I made that video talking about exploiting immigrants. And a lot of people called me a xenophobe. And I said no. And it's funny because it's the same thing the president of Canada is saying right now. I said it last year. Just an Uber driver. That's all I am. I'm an Uber driver. I'm not a political scientist. I'm not, deep into it. No. I'm just a dude that drives Uber and I sit in my garage and fix transmissions, and I saw it a long time ago. Short bus. People that think a year later, I said they will be exploiting these people. Lyft's getting sued for it. Uber's exploiting people. Corporations exploiting. Colleges are exploiting them. Did I not say this was going to happen? But yet, I'm nothing but an Uber driver. What do I know?
Looking back, when the post-pandemic boom cooled and businesses no longer needed the additional labor help, as a federal team, we could have acted quicker and turned off the taps faster. Now, it is time to make the adjustments to stabilize the immigration system that we need and get it working right for Canadians for right now.
Making it right for Canadians. Canada first. I have no problem with that. Make it right for We try to make it right for Americans. We try to say America first, and we got called racist. We got called nationalists and xenophobes. We never said, oh, well, these people are seeking asylum. No, just like he's saying, we need to look out for Canada first. We got to look out for Canadians. I don't have a problem with that. Do it. That's your country. Look out for it. You don't hear him say anything about asylum. And nothing he said has he mentioned the word asylum for any. He's called them immigrants. He's called them permanent, temporary. He's never said the word asylum. Yet that's all these Democrats throw around all day. Well, they're asylum seekers. You can't just get rid of them. They're asylum seekers. Trill is like, we need to think about Canadians first. We got to take care of Canada. Man, I'm so glad Trump's back. Man, he's influencing everybody.
Immigration is primarily a federal job. We have the levers to rein it in, so we are.
This is a big change, a major cut to immigration, reducing permanent immigration levels by at least 20%.
New string of measures to clamp down on temporary immigrants.
That means a decrease in international students, temporary foreign workers.
Canada's new immigration plan is straightforward. Lower the number of new immigrants coming into Canada, both temporary and permanent.
Build that wall. Build that wall.
We're prioritizing permanent residents with the skills we need, like healthcare workers for our hospitals and construction workers who will build more homes. And those temporary residents who are already in Canada, some will apply to stay in Canada as permanent residents. Since they're already here, established and working, the added pressure put on communities is very low. Or they'll leave Canada when their temporary residency expires, reducing our population. Some temporary residents may turn to our asylum system when their visa expires as a shortcut to stay in Canada. Those claims will be analyzed and processed, and if their claim fails, they'll be sent home.
And now he brings up asylum, and that's how it really works. If you seek asylum, you have to file for asylum. You have to seek asylum. If there's no reason for you to have asylum in our country based on the claims you make, you don't get approved for it. You can't just cross into another country illegally and go, oh, hey, I'm seeking asylum. No problem. Just stay. You're good. Yeah. Hey, me too. I'm seeking asylum too. Hey, all 2 million of us, we're all seeking asylum. You have to fill out a form. And it has to be investigated to say whether or not you're allowed to stay in the country in which you're seeking asylum in. That's how asylum systems work. You don't just illegally get to live in somebody's country because you said, hey, I'm seeking asylum. If that was the case, anybody can do that all over the world. Doesn't work like that.
Between the amount of people coming and going, we'll effectively pause population growth for the next 2 years. Then from 2027 onwards, it'll balance out and slowly start increasing again at a sustainable pace. In fact, that gets us back to the population growth path we were on before the pandemic. This pause is going to give our economy and our communities the chance to catch up with things like our plan to build millions more homes. That's not stopping, but now we'll have a little more breathing room as we build. We'll see more corporations investing in Canadian workers and youth rather than relying on cheap foreign labor.
And that's why many of us were saying, especially those of us who are parents with kids, were saying, we are doing this for our kids' future. We're voting for Trump for our kids' future. And he's saying the same thing. If we have nothing but immigrants coming in, then we're not training and educating our youth to have those jobs. The youth are our future. The youth of this country, they have to learn how to work in this country. They got to learn how to socialize in this country. They got to navigate this country. If we're bringing in other people who are already grown in their country, just bringing them to ours, and we're giving them all the resources, the educational material, the social material, the health material, where do we leave our youth? What do we do with our kids? That's why we say we're doing this for our future, for your kids' future too. When I voted for Trump, I voted for the future of America. I didn't vote for, oh, I feel sorry for these people. No, I feel sorry. I can feel sorry for them while they're in their country. It's not a big deal. I'll feel sorry for them here. I can feel sorry for them there. But I do need to feel sorry for my own children too who live here. We don't have anywhere to go. So we've got to make sure we're securing the future for Americans. Because if we don't, what do American kids have? What are they going to end up doing? Seeking asylum elsewhere when they had a home the whole time and all we did was just sell America out? Once we allow people to sell America out, we have nothing left. And that's why we elected Trump. We had to stop. Now you see Trudeau doing the same thing. He's like, you know what? We've got a plan now. We never had a plan before, but we got one now. Of course you got one. Trump was telling y'all a long time ago. Even I was saying a long time ago, this is not going to work out. You got to come up with something different.
Our cap on international students is already bringing rental prices down in big cities, and as we keep that cap in place, rents will keep coming down. We're making the system work for Canadians and for newcomers, rather than for the big box stores, chain restaurants, immigration consultants, and sham colleges that exploit it. Immigration is a great thing, and we're lucky that so many people dream of coming to our country. Fulfilling that dream depends on having a good job, a decent place to live, and health care that you can access when you need it. We have to make sure our population isn't getting out ahead of those things.
So pretty much everything Trump was saying was right. And now world leaders are finally out of the haze of following the Obama plan, because I guarantee he was involved in a lot of the crazy stuff we were seeing going on because Trump's elected. So they know, well, Trump's not going to listen to Obama. So why are we going to listen to Obama? Let's follow Trump, because what Trump was saying sounded smart. The World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization, both of those guys, they were putting strains and stresses on our country. Trump's talking about pulling out of the WHO because he knows how those people want to run other folks' country. We don't even know them people. We don't elect people at the WHO, but they want to set policy for our country. We don't even know them. Trump's like, listen, Americans make choices. We elect our officials. Therefore, we're going to allow Americans to say how America is ran. We're going to allow some third world nation organization sitting overseas somewhere tell Americans how we want to live. And he's putting the strength back in the other leaders of other countries now. Because now look at Canada trying to make a stand like Trump. Oh, yeah, we're going to level out now we got a plan now. And we told y'all a long time ago what to do. Why did it take you 4 years to figure out what to do? It took you 4 years to figure it out. And we were sitting there saying, you guys are going to run these countries into the ground at the current rate of what you're allowing immigration. These people are coming over. There's crimes being committed because there's criminals embedding themselves inside of the normal people that want to come over just to work. Some people just want to come and work, but there's a way to do that. There's a way to file paperwork, a way to sit and wait your turn. We got a lot of immigrants in Canada and in America who came here the right way. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But people are in such a rush to want to get around and do something different. And what happens? Same thing what happened with the Kamala Harris campaign. What happened? Trying to get around things. Hey, we don't want to earn nobody's respect. Let's just call in some celebrities and they'll get our respect we need. Whenever you take a shortcut, Bad shit always happens. We learn that in sports. If you gonna practice, practice fully. Don't run around to the side of the building and hang out for like 10 minutes, then come around and say, yeah, man, we went on a 15-minute run. No, you didn't. You were sitting around the side of the building, because when the day comes that you have to go run, guess what? Your competitors are going to defeat you, because they really did do the work. They really did do the practice, and you were cheating. You thought you were cheating me as a coach, but you was cheating yourself as an athlete. See, we thought we were cheating society. No, we were cheating ourselves as citizens of this country. We wasn't going to get by. And we kept saying, we need to stop allowing this to happen. Finally, presidents around the world right now are going to start realizing what we're talking about. This whole asylum seeker thing, man, that was a joke. They knew that was a joke. That was Kamala Harris' plot. That was an Obama plot. That was a loophole, legal loopholes. You got all these attorneys like the Obamas. You got Tony West. You got Kamala. All these attorneys finding all these little loopholes. Hey, let's call them asylum seekers. Yeah. Well, even with that, you still should have to fill out some paperwork. But you didn't. And now it's time for a lot of them to go back home. And they're going to be pissed off that the Democrats got them to come way over here. And they got to turn around and go all the way back. That would piss me off, too. See, I'd rather roll down and get it out the way. Hop up in the beam, be about my day. Start a play. My little brother X, he the coolest MC with my hands free deck. Much love and respect to the rappers I name. I spared it out of love, ain't about that fame. It's a whole new game with these young whippersnappers. They all around campus, stepping like cappers, rapping on masters, bachelor's degree. All my old heads in the place to be. We get down. 11-11 crown. We royal and we brown. We the ones that get the kids in the pyramids, biz being built from the ground. I like how that sounds. Right turn right now. Left turn top down. We out.